Okay, so I'm going to say some things here that you are probably going to disagree with me, because I know this movie's bad. It's terrible. Like,
it is.
From the first scene, I knew this is a bad movie. They even showed Paul W.S. Anderson twice to remind me that it's a bad movie. But, like a lot of bad movies, and this is probably my best example now, I can take something from it and say, I enjoyed this about it, and I can't recommend that to anyone else.
A little idiosyncrasy.
Yes.
Okay, so basically right off the bat, that's your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to talk about why?
Let's talk about this movie, Pompeii, which features
Pompeii, as the patrons of Eastside 9 like to refer to it.
Well, we know they're an intelligent bunch.
They probably enjoyed it.
Oh, really?
Historically accurate.
Actually, it's funny because I saw it at Wabash Landing 9, and for the most part, it's always an enthusiastic crowd there. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if it's something in the water, but they just always seem to enjoy a movie. Except twice. Devil Inside, they all like, this is bullshit!
Throwing shit at the screen.
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
And, like, all the theater workers were laughing, like, you guys enjoyed that.
We got your money.
Yeah. Like, people are like, you should have warned us. He's like, I can't do that.
Yeah, really.
And then this movie. But this movie, people walked out and they were, like, tired. They really were. They're just like, oh, well, I guess let's go home. Pretty much.
I've seen that happen before many times because I'm an usher, and you just kind of stand in the back and watch them filter out. They occasionally sigh, but usually it's like a hardcore drama that just like racks you to your core. This is supposed to be entertaining,
so it has this balance because you know by the title what's supposed to happen, and they also remind you. There's so many shots where they're like, hey, see that? That's the volcano.
Or there's the poster.
Yeah.
It has the volcano exploding spectacular. And there's like, you can almost make out like a human figure. But it's like, is this movie just about the volcano? And it kind of should have been.
Yeah, so to start off with, it takes place with, I don't know his name. I know his name's like Kit Harington.
Kit Harington, yeah. Okay. His name is
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow.
That's how we will refer to him from the rest of this podcast.
It's impossible not to think about Game of Thrones when you're watching it. Even if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, you know what Jon Snow looks like. He's got that little pseudo beard.
Yeah.
You can't quite grow a full beard.
He has that shaggy curly hair.
Yeah, he tries anyway.
Yeah, and he also has that like really brooding look that he has.
That never changes.
That looks like I'm suffering, which in Game of Thrones it kind of makes sense
because he's cold
with his character, but this one's like, all right, we don't really know much about you. So it starts off with
we do know he's in the Celtic horse tribe because the movie tells us. This fucking movie starts with like a 2.5 minute credit scene. I'm okay with that. In fact, if you watch old movies, you see like a bunch of like boring ass credit sequences.
Yeah, this one actually starts off with like
it's like
a quote about Pompeii.
Yeah,
quote. Which I was thinking, if everyone died in Pompeii, how do they have a quote from someone?
That's the thing. Not everyone died, but that's not important now. Pliny the Younger was like a father-son historian duo. He was the son. The elder was his dad. Yeah, and I guess they saw it. This is from Wikipedia, by the way. They weren't there, but they saw the aftermath, and they wrote about it. And that's how we know. And it's entered into the culture. Like, if you say Pompeii, people know, oh yeah, fiery doom.
Yeah.
I mean, for some reason, I don't even remember reading about it. I just know what happens in Pompeii. And so now we've made it a love story.
Yes, we have.
Between a man and a volcano.
So it starts off with, you pretty much see Jon Snow as a small child.
Yeah.
See his whole village get killed.
Right, just like Conan the Barbarian.
And something I have to point out, Paul W.S. Anderson has a tendency to think that the audience cannot tell what's going on, so he'll slow it down so you're like, look at that guy.
Oh, bad.
Yeah. Essentially, so there's twice in the beginning, when he's a small child, he looks and sees someone. And one of them's your boy Kiefer Sutherland.
My boy.
And the other one is unnamed henchman, number 1.
Yeah, he hardly even talks.
No.
He's just like the badass lieutenant who isn't really that bad of an ass either.
Yeah. He only has a few fight scenes, I guess. But, like, it kind of lines up with, okay, from the beginning, you're like, he's gonna get revenge because he stared boldly at both of them in slow motion. So
as
it's like,
a kid, yeah, and remembered, etched in his memory.
So Paul W.S. Anderson's like, remember them, they will come back.
Oh yeah.
So then he gets kidnapped by slavers, I guess, and he becomes a gladiator.
Oh yeah, right, because it has to ape other movies that were better that won Best Picture.
So it starts off, not starts off, but it like moves on to Londinium, I guess that's... Londinium, whatever.
Yeah.
And you have this kind of pompous, fat, gay Roman.
Yeah.
That's like running this gladiator show, and he's like, this is just not good enough. Come on, guys. There's nothing to do anymore. And the guy's like, hold on. Here he comes. And in slow motion, you see Jon Snow strutting through.
Without any fucking armor on.
And it's like, 6-pack!
Because he has nothing on.
I think the whole screen was centered around that. It was just like, alright, so he has a 6-pack.
Right.
It looks great if a sword goes through that. Because he fights guys with full armor, and somehow he kills them.
He was in like a chainmail bikini, topless, and I don't get these kind of movies. They want to make out the protagonist to be some kind of badass. They have him walk in a room, everyone else goes, oh shit, check this guy out. Except in this case, he's like so much shorter than everybody else.
Oh, he's tiny.
He's
Except that he's so much stronger than them, and like he's like agile. He fights like a Jedi almost.
He's like a jungle cat.
Just how he like dodges sword blows, and then he's able to punch them and knock them out, and then stab them with their own sword.
Yeah, it's stupid. They're so much bigger than he is. This guy would have been taken to pieces and or raped.
Yes,
dozens of times. I don't understand why he's supposed to be this badass that even deserves his own nickname, the Celt. Ooh, the Celt, because apparently he's the last one left. I didn't know that. Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland killed all the Celts
except one.
Except one.
And so from there, they're like, okay, we'll take him to Pompeii.
Right.
And it's funny, they like see a map and it like zooms out and zooms in. What do you see?
Yeah, I was expecting like the Indiana Jones. Little dots on the screen.
Did you see what they put by Pompeii?
A giant ass volcano.
And so then the next scene, which doesn't make any sense, you see them walking to Pompeii.
Oh yeah. How did they?
Shouldn't they have taken boats?
Ah, good question. Yeah,
no,
right.
but they're strolling along across Europe in chains. So then we get to my favorite scene. We'll say my second favorite scene of the whole movie.
Yeah.
So then we see the love interest, of course, because this is supposed to be a romance.
Yeah, in the same vein as Titanic or maybe Pearl Harbor. So
she's riding along in her carriage, and she's talking about how she's been to Rome and all this, and she's really not that good looking. I know that makes me sound shallow.
No, I kind of think she was, which makes me sound shallow because she's a terrible actress.
You know what? Because like she got hotter with all the more dust on her face.
Isn't that weird? She did.
In the very beginning, I'm like, she looks really fair, which is like, okay, that's kind of realistic to... Not saying this movie's historically accurate, but...
At all.
Like, okay, I'm not saying she's, like, terribly ugly, but, like, it's just like, I'm not feeling this, whatever. So then, like, her cart hits a bump right by the, slavers walking by.
Of course.
And the horse just, like, freaks the fuck out and falls down.
Yeah, keels over.
Just, like, falls over. And then Jon Snow is like... Unhook me. Unhook me. And the guy's like, no, I won't unhook you. And he's like, the horse is in pain. Fine. And he unhooks him.
Yeah, basically that's how it went.
And he walks over, and you're like, what, is he like a horse doctor? Nope, he just caresses it. He's like, he's just, here you go, horse.
Loving magic fingers.
Here you go, horse. It's fine. So then I don't know. I'm going to call her Princess because I don't actually know her name.
She's not even I don't know.
I'm going to call her Princess now from the rest of this
More
review.
or less, yeah.
So the princess comes over, even though he is a, barbarian, savage. He kills for a living.
I bet he smelled bad, too, after walking all the way from Celtland.
Yeah. But she goes next to him and goes like, is the horse okay? And he's like, yeah, he'll be all right. Push your hand right there by the leg so he won't feel it. She's like, what? She barely even does it. And he's like, crook!
Snaps his
He
neck.
kills the horse. That is their first date, by the way. That's how it goes. He kills a horse right in front of her with his bare hands. He's a dangerous man. But no, he goes back, gets hooked up. They go back and walk by Pompeii. So then, Princess with her handmaiden, and the handmaiden goes, I've never seen you look at a man that way. It's like, really? Because you just saw him kill a horse with his bare hands. He's a scary man. Why do you think he did that? That was the most merciful thing he could have done. She said that. I'm not making that shit up. She said that. And it's like, oh god. Oh my goodness. Alright.
Yeah. You saw this by yourself, presumably?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, me too.
I was kind of going insane at that moment.
I know, I had to try and stifle the laughter. Because, I mean, while it's absolute shit happening on the screen, it's funny. It really is enjoyable.
There are many moments in this that are
unintentionally
funny,
hilarious,
and it's a lot of it has to do with editing. Because there's a part where like his mother's backing up, and it's like in slow motion. I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? She like dancing, then she gets hit by a horse.
Oh yeah, she does.
So another thing that is extremely unintentionally funny is during the gladiator scenes, which made me really appreciate the original movie. Not original. Why did I say that? The movie Gladiator, even though, like, I can go, it's not the greatest, really appreciate the fight scene in that. So, apparently everybody in this, if you throw something, you can just, it's like lock on target. It's straight in the chest, and it knocks them out, and it's like, wow, they are, like, you remember in Troy, when you see Brad Pitt launch that spear from a great distance and nails that guy, and that was supposed to be impressive, because no one else can do that.
Oh yeah, because he's a god, man.
But everyone else in this, it's like, oh yeah, I got this axe. That guy's over there. Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Like
I did laugh at that. Well, you know, he's a honed gladiator, Alex. He is actually just one more match away from his freedom.
Yeah.
And of course, we're talking about I don't even know the actor's name. To be honest, it's one of those hard to pronounce names.
I don't want to call him the black guy.
Okay,
that sounds bad.
His character's name is Atticus.
His
Finch.
name is Atticus, and he talks like this. I'm going to get my freedom. I'm going to kill you. It's like, I really hate this, and it was, even though I'm a white guy, it made me feel offense. I was offended that everyone else in this is like, British accent, sort of proper, even if they're a slave, even if they're, you know, a savage. Jon Snow is a savage, but he can speak perfect English.
Yeah, he does.
But this guy talks like this because he's from Africa. And this is how Africans talk.
Well, it's not his native tongue. Actually, that didn't really,
but
bother me because he wasn't portrayed as stupid. He was an intelligent guy.
No, he was an intelligent guy. I don't understand the direction where it's like, yeah, can you talk slow for this? But like, they almost try to make him look like a villain. The first time you see him, he's in the shadow, and he's just sitting back there, and then he slowly creeps in, and it's like, okay.
He actually narrates it too.
So
he's like, I'm in the shadows.
Yeah.
He just says that right to the camera.
You owe me 2 wine rations. Like,
Yeah.
he says dumb stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. He does, but
He has really heartfelt intentions. So he has this whole thing where he's like the champion of Pompeii for gladiator's sake, and if he wins his last one according to Roman law, he will get his freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, you know, Jon Snow, who's like gonna be his contender,
and is also a badass.
and he's just like, you know, they're not gonna do that, right? You know, they're not gonna do that. He's like, that is against the law. That they can't do that to me. And it's like, you're a slave. Like, I don't know if they want, like, they should have just shown that. It's like, you're a slave, dude. So, no, okay. So they have this whole, you know, gladiator thing. You know what's funny? So they have, like, the practice, and then they have, like, this talk-off. You know what I'm talking about?
No, the walk-off?
No, it's not a walk-off.
Oh, it should have been.
I wish David Bowie was in this. But it wasn't a walk-off. No, but, like, Atticus is like, so who's the poor bastard that I'm going to kill tomorrow? And then, like, Jon Snow shows up. And everyone else is like practicing in the event because, they have a fight tomorrow too. But then when they see that, they all stop and they form a circle.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just like blows with wooden swords while making comments. Like, this is
Yeah, I don't think you
amateur.
actually have dialogue while you're fighting.
No, it would be...
But nah, they have a little sparring match and wooden swords. Stupid. Honestly stupid. It plays to all of the tropes of like gladiator movies, which have kind of gone by the wayside, and we know why now, because it's tired.
Yeah.
But then we have Paul W.S. Anderson, who I actually mistook for Paul
S.
Thomas Anderson.
Oh, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah,
the
who
one
makes
that made
good movies
There
like
Will Be
Magnolia,
Blood.
There Will Be Blood, all that good stuff.
The Master.
Master. Right. And I'm afraid people might be misled.
No, this is the guy that made Resident Evil?
1 through 14.
1 through 14 of Resident Evil. Okay. Yeah. And this has a lot of the tropes that those movies have.
Slow motion action.
Yeah.
Other bullshit.
Lots of slow motion action.
Amateur.
A lot of really bad... A lot of quick cut action. Something we always complain about is like showing stuff really closely. Even though when they show like a wide shot, everything's in CG. And it's just like, why didn't you show more...
The CG looks great. It does. It looks really... The Bay looks good. If you've seen what I want to call the theatrical cut of Pompeii, because that is going to play in theaters for longer than the movie, the trailer. I've been seeing this trailer for like 2 months, which is more than they're going to be able to see the movie for like a week before they just stop showing it because no one's showing up.
Pretty much.
Anyways, the trailer, much more to the point. And you also get the same amount of enjoyment from it because it basically tells the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And this is like what you'd call like the super director's cut of Pompeii, which you can see for the low price of $9.25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe I paid.
The production value is that of like a low budget History Channel historical reenactment.
The only part I could see the budget really went to was making
The
that
special
mountain.
effect.
That mountain
It looks
no.
badass.
At times. There are a few parts, I will say this, towards the end, it looked like it was Kiefer Sutherland's head just floating with a bunch of shit in the background. Like, I'd like you to go back and look and you'd be like, oh my god, it does look like that. It's just like, yeah, just put his head on it. Now, granted, it wasn't like really bad green screen like I complained about in RoboCop, but like, you can go like, that looks at least tacky.
Okay, we can call it tacky. So, the movie... it goes in this weird gladiator phase where that takes over, and every once in a while, rumble. Hey, did you feel that? Huh?
No, it's nothing.
Yeah, let's just ignore it.
Okay. Cool. We gotta go back to the romance part. We
Yeah,
gotta explain this part. So they have like this
bullshit
party.
romance, yeah.
They're throwing this party because Princess's parents is like
Own the island.
practically. They just
Yeah.
like they run Pompeii. So they're throwing this rager that's like upstairs of their penthouse, I
Yeah,
guess.
something like that.
Kiefer Sutherland's there, and he's like, I'm gonna get you, princess. He's like twirling his non-existent mustache.
Basically.
And it's like, alright, so he's a dick.
Yeah.
I got that part. Okay. So then, like, rumbles. And, of course, Atticus is like, the mountain just rumbles sometimes. And Jon Snow's like, okay, that's fine. So...
Then we have a plot.
So then there's, like, these horses downstairs, which are...
Oh, God.
The princesses. They're going nuts, okay? And so the princess, somehow from upstairs, and a large party, by the way. Now, it's not like they're throwing, like, rager music. It's not like... But somehow she's able to hear the horses.
It's probably a bunch of loots.
Yeah, I guess.
It's Roman.
So, like, she stomps. She's like, I need him. Jon Snow, you come with me. And then the guard's like, you can't do that. Yes, I can. Fine. And so they go
By the way,
downstairs.
that guy's lines, the only lines he ever has in the whole movie.
Pretty much. So they go downstairs, and Jon Snow's, he's in chains. He's like, I'm gonna have to be alone. And the guard's like, you can't do that, you're a savage. And he's like, yes, I can. Fine. He lets him in there. So, let's explain this. The princess had this idea. My own horse, is distressed by the rumbling. Let's get the guy that broke the neck of a horse.
Oh, yeah.
That is her reasoning, right? Because it doesn't... Nothing else explains.
He's good with horses, and by that we mean good at killing them.
I want you to shut it up. I don't know how else to like describe what her intentions were. So then they go downstairs, and he goes in there, and practically all he does is he like covers his eyes, he extends his hand, and he slowly nears the horse, and he somehow calms it down. And it's like, okay, so he has the magic touch, whatever. Movie magic. He hops on the horse. So then the princess from the outside is like, I need to go in there. And he's like, no, you can't do that. He's a savage. Yes, I can. Let me in there. Fine. Goes in there. She walks in. She's like, if you're on top of that, if they catch you, they will punish you. And he's like, yeah, I know. And then he extends his hand, and she hops on the horse with him. The man that is a gladiator killer, a savage,
that she's met
kills a horse, is now grabbing him by the waist like they've known each other for years.
Well, he's got a great waist. Have you seen that thing? It's chiseled.
I guess.
Out of marble.
So then what happens is the guard's like, I wonder what's going on in there. It got quiet. He opens the door. Horse just bust ass running through. And then they haul ass for like 2 miles outside of Pompeii. So like, is this like the part, like, is this twist, like, I'm really hoping this, like, oh, like, we don't even see the whole volcano thing. It's just like, it's gonna be like a road trip movie from here on out. Be like, oh, this is badass. Everyone's gonna get pissed. I was just waiting for like people to flip shit in the theater. But no, it just shows up and they're like, if they find you with me, they're gonna punish you. I know.
You told me already.
Yeah, but it's not your fault, because I just tell them I took you. Yeah. Nope. Because somehow I'm able to, like, discuss with the princess, even though I'm technically a slave. I'm below you. I'm below shit in this society. Well, okay, we're not going to argue over historical accuracy. So then Kiefer Sutherland's, like, chasing after her, like, no, you're my wife, bitch. And, like, that's a bunch of horses. And, like, just before Jon Snow and the princess somehow kiss, because, like, now there's sexual tension.
Uh-huh.
Because their faces are that close. I think that's the only reason.
Maybe.
It's some sort of gravity kind of constant thing. It's like, oh, they get closer. It's just like, ugh.
Large objects in motion.
Yeah. So then, like, that gets broken up because Kiefer Sutherland's a cock block. And so then, like, they take him back, and, like, Kiefer Sutherland's like, I'm going to kill you because you just kidnapped the princess. And the princess is like, no, don't do that. Come on, he's a nice guy. Except that he just killed a horse in front of you. Yeah, okay. Kiefer Sutherland says, well, what would it mean to you if I didn't do that? I would be forever grateful.
I really thought she was gonna,
Like, I actually thought, like, is he propositioning her? Like, so am I gonna get, like, a blowjob out of this? Like, I was waiting for that. I'm like, oh, damn, this is PG-13. I've already saw the violence.
There hardly is any violence, to be honest. It's like a quick cut. Oh, someone got slashed with a sword, but you didn't see it.
Yeah.
Implied violence.
So then, okay, he lets him go. But then Kiefer Sutherland goes to, like, the fat gay guy that runs the gladiators, and he's like, you're gonna have to make sure he dies first. I can't do that. I have the greatest battle at the end. And it's like, no, you're gonna do this. So, like, they had the whole plan. Okay, this is a major plot hole in this. I know there's many, but this is a major one. So they had this plan to, like, it's just individual battles. And so then they somehow, overnight, construct this whole choreographed battle scene where they, like, reenact a battle.
Yeah, kind of like in Gladiator.
Yeah, which, that actually happened in Gladiators. Not gladiators, but, like,
gladiatorial arenas.
Yeah, like, they would reenact Roman battles, which was cool in the Battle of Carthage scene in Gladiator. Mm-hmm. Cause, like, it was well choreographed, and, like, they actually had...
Was it? Because I don't remember.
They had the discussion, like...
It's been 14 years.
Don't the savages actually win and don't win? And, like, they had all these arguments.
Yeah.
This one has the same thing. They just rip it off.
Basically.
And, from there, that this guy lives, and Jon Snow lives. Then we get more rumblings. And this is the best part. So then, the volcano goes apeshit, and everyone's like, ah! And so, okay. In the in actual Pompeii, like, recordings, don't they believe, like, they all died within minutes, right? Minutes? Like, hot ash and lava just, like, fucking just took out Pompeii.
Actually, no.
No?
I don't think so. I did a report on this in 5th grade, so you might question my authority on this one. But there were stages.
All right.
There was the rumbling and tumbling.
Because
and
one argument, not one argument, but one criticism I'll have that stands away from the crappy dialogue, shallow people flat characters that are in this, is that somehow during this whole volcano shit, there are times where, like, you just kind of forget, like, oh yeah, isn't there, like, a volcano erupting next to us?
Yeah, you do forget
so
that.
There's, like, a sense of, like, there's no sense of danger.
There's no impending tension whatsoever.
And I, honestly, I don't like that choice, because I feel like that they think, oh, wait, we need to keep telling story, because we set up this great romance, man. This great romance and this, like, kind of love triangle, man. Like, we gotta show that. And so then, like, there's chase scenes that are really bad. Really bad. Like, you need to go back and watch them. You will literally see Kiefer Sutherland's head just, like, floating with the ash and him, like, snickering with his mustache torn.
Yeah, well, actually, the movie goes from being gladiator movie to suddenly disaster movie a la Roland Emmerich. What's that guy's fucking
Roland
name?
Emmerich, who loves to destroy historical monuments.
Yeah, basically. So let's destroy Pompeii. Okay, that was fine because it looked so goddamn. I thought it looked really good. So
it looked
from
okay.
The earthquake to suddenly there are giant fireballs and
parts
boulders.
of it looked okay. I think the problem was when they transitioned to showing live action with the CG.
Yeah.
If they showed just CG, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it was bad. It didn't look, say, really spectacular. It'd be like, oh no, this is the best thing I've ever seen of a volcano erupting. But it's like, you know what, this is very good, very passable. I can't knock it for that. But then, like, it would show other people, and I'm like, there's just this weird kind of transition thing. So now we need to get to the best part. So eventually Jon Snow and Princess get away, because, you know, the black guy dies, of course. Because, you know, he did the trope. He did the trope. I'm going to be free. That was his, like, one of his first lines.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out of here. So it's kind of like when the cop says he's getting ready to retire. It's like when someone coughs, they get cancer. It's like a woman that throws up, she's pregnant.
Yeah, well, his freedom was granted via Vesuvius.
Yeah. And he gets destroyed. And I got mad when he got killed, because I was like, that's the only one I'm rooting for.
Yeah, he was basically
so then, like, Jon Snow,
character.
who, like, doesn't really have much character other than, like, he is on the poster. You know, that's the reason why I live. It's like, see, he's on the poster, right? That's what.
Yeah, I was thinking
that
that
the
the whole
gets
time.
away.
As Atticus is a lot more compelling character, who's also got more charisma, we have to care about Jon Snow because the movie wants us to. Because he has more scenes.
Well, and of course the princess likes him.
Yeah,
The princess likes him. So okay, we get to the part they're running away by horse. The princess and Jon Snow, and like, by the way. This part, they show, like, hot ash and lava hauling ass, okay? Like, in a matter of seconds, it reaches Pompeii. So I'm like, so they're gonna not make it, right? Like, it's gonna be like, I was like, I was hoping that. But no, they're able to get their dialogue through. So then they're, like, there, and it's like their impending doom's coming. And I was like, okay, wait, are they gonna pull Titanic? Are they gonna pull the Titanic? He's like, no, you go. You get on the horse and run off. And then she's like, no. I don't want to run anymore. I was like, run for... Okay, you're just going to give up?
Been running for 15 minutes.
So then, like, they're kind of kissing, and I was like, alright, and then... They get destroyed.
Spoiler alert! It's on the poster.
And I have to say this. The end scene, I couldn't stop smiling. Because I figured it out. I know why... historical disaster movies have romance in it. It is a giant metaphor for the director and writers to try to explain why their relationships failed. No, it wasn't because I was not trustworthy and jealous and paranoid. The boat sank. No, it wasn't because I was an asshole to her and belittled every comment she said. A volcano erupted.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying there?
It was doomed
I
by
figured
fate.
it out.
Yeah.
I broke the key, and that's why, in some ways, I really liked this movie. This movie's terrible, but just, like, figuring out, I'm like, Paul W.S. Anderson must have had a terrible time in college. Some girl fucked with him. It's kind of like, you know, if you listen to the Adele albums, you'd be like, who's the dick that made her suffer?
Yeah.
Someone made Paul W.S. Anderson suffer, and he had to make a volcano movie to emit his emotion from it.
Well, you know, if that does it for him, man. But then he asked us to pay to see it. So I think that's hard to forgive.
Yeah.
Well, what's perplexing about this particular breakup tale, if that is the case, is that first of all, the likable one, the black guy, the villain, Kiefer Sutherland, and then the two young attractive leads all die the same way. But in Kiefer's case, it's agonizing, and in their case, they don't even notice enough to stop kissing.
Yeah.
Because they're frozen forever in cooled magma. Now, is it magma underground or lava? I don't know what the hell. You've seen the Pompeii people frozen in time.
Lava if it's out of the volcano.
Okay, so it's out of the volcano. You never see any. But presumably that's what happened to them because you see their figures locked in time. But wouldn't they have been just dying of pain and torment? Probably, but they're still making out.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that lava wasn't going to cop block him.
Yeah, it just didn't seem justified that you have, in the villain's case, it was just because he had it coming.
This movie's not made well. It has I don't say some of the worst dialogue, but it's like clumsy with it. It's clumsy with scenes. I really think what they did was they're like, hey, let's make a movie about Pompeii. Oh, okay. So, like, what happens? Alright, so we should just, like, have someone, like, walking down the street and, like, it rumbles, right? And then just, like, lava just kills everybody, right? Just, like, bruh! And it's like, well, see, you're not Michael Bay. You can't do that for, like, an hour and 15. You can't really pull that off. Like, you gotta stretch it. Well, we can make a love story out of it.
I kind of feel like they had 3 different movies. One was, like, a bullshit gladiator movie. The other was, like, a stupid love story. And then Pompeii. They just mashed them all together in a blender.
Yeah.
That's what they got. And it was
pretty much.
Didn't really stick. But what would you give it?
See, I can't hate the movie, so I'd just say don't see it.
I would say the same thing. I'd almost say if you're super desperate and you like Kiefer Sutherland enough.
You know what? If you're a bitter single person and you want to see a giant metaphor for how relationships don't work, watch this movie. So then you can watch because like how I saw it, everybody in the theater was coupled. Except me, in the corner, just sitting there. And I just wanted to turn to everyone and go like, this is what happens. This is what happens.
The horse wasn't fast enough. It couldn't carry us both, so...
And it really brought back to why I didn't like Titanic, because Kate Winslet is a selfish bitch. Because I learned this in Fluids, by the way. There's enough buoyancy on that door for Leonardo DiCaprio. Don't act like, after you try once. Try another time, dude.
I only tried once.
Yeah. It's like, no, I'll just drown. Don't worry about me, Kate, bitch. Don't be a Kate Winslet, people. Don't be selfish. Let them on the door.